What if the most famous structure in human history still holds secrets that no one has been able to fully explain? It has survived for more than 4,000 years. It was the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4 millennia. It was built with such precision that modern engineers still struggle to explain it. And yet, we still do not fully understand how or why it was built. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza. And today, we go deeper than the textbooks ever will. For most of us, the story of the Great Pyramid begins in a classroom. A pharaoh named Khufu, a tomb, thousands of workers, ancient Egypt. Simple, clear, closed. But the closer historians, archaeologists, and scientists look at the evidence, the less certain that story becomes. Not because the history is wrong, but because the history is incomplete. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the last surviving wonder of the ancient world. And it stands on the edge of a desert plateau outside the city of Cairo, Egypt, a monument so massive, so precise, and so mysterious that it has provoked debate, wonder, and obsession for thousands of years. What we know for certain is remarkable enough. What we still don't know is extraordinary. Tonight, we're going to explore both. To understand the Great Pyramid, we first need to understand the world it came from. Approximately 4,500 years ago, the civilization of ancient Egypt was at the height of what historians call the Old Kingdom period, a time of extraordinary political unity, agricultural abundance, and cultural ambition. The Nile River was the bloodline of this civilization. Every year, the Nile flooded its banks, depositing rich black soil that produced some of the most fertile farmland in the ancient world. This agricultural surplus meant that Egypt could support a large population and, crucially, a large workforce that did not need to spend all its time growing food. This surplus created something extraordinary, the possibility of monumental architecture. Egyptian pyramid building did not begin with the Great Pyramid. It was the result of generations of learning, experimentation, and refinement. It began with simple rectangular structures called mastabas, flat-roofed tombs built over underground burial chambers. Then came the step pyramid of Djoser, a revolutionary design by the architect Imhotep that stacked mastabas on top of each other to create a stepped monument reaching toward the sky. Then came the experiments at Meidum and Dashur, one pyramid that partially collapsed, and the famous bent pyramid, whose angle was changed midway through construction, suggesting the builders were learning and adjusting as they went. By the time Pharaoh Khufu, known to the ancient Greeks as Cheops, came to power, Egyptian builders had been perfecting the art of pyramid construction for more than a century. And what Khufu ordered was something no one had ever attempted before: a perfect pyramid. Not a step, not a bend, a smooth-sided, mathematically precise monument that would tower over the landscape for eternity. The Great Pyramid was to contain approximately 2.3 million stone blocks. The average block weighs around 2.5 tons. Some blocks, particularly the granite blocks used in the internal chambers, weigh as much as 80 tons. And it was built, as best as we can determine, in roughly 20 years. That means that on average, a new block was placed approximately every 2 to 3 minutes, day and night, every single day for 2 decades. Let that sink in. For a long time, one of the great mysteries of pyramid construction was simply this: where are the workers? Ancient Greek historians like Herodotus wrote of slaves building the pyramids in chains, a story that captured the imagination for centuries. But modern archaeology has discovered something far surprising. Excavations near the Giza Plateau have revealed an entire workers' city, a settlement that housed thousands of skilled laborers who built the pyramid. These were not slaves. They were professional builders, organized into rotating teams. They were fed high-quality beef and fish, food that would have been considered a luxury in ancient Egypt. They had their own bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities. When workers were injured, which happened given the nature of the work, there is evidence that their bones were set, their wounds were treated, and they continued working. This changes everything we thought we knew about who built the Great Pyramid. But the question of how they built it remains far more difficult to answer. Archaeological evidence suggests that limestone blocks were quarried from a site just south of the pyramid itself, reducing the distance each block needed to travel. Workers used copper tools, chisels, saws, and drills to cut the stone. Experimental archaeology has shown that copper tools, when properly maintained and used with abrasive sand, are capable of cutting limestone with surprising efficiency. For moving the blocks, archaeologists believe a combination of sledgings, wooden rollers, and lubricated pathways were used. Ancient Egyptian wall paintings show workers pouring a liquid, possibly water or oil, in front of sledges to reduce friction. Recent experiments have demonstrated that wetting sand dramatically reduces the force required to drag a heavy sledge. For lifting, most researchers believe some form of internal ramp system was used, a spiral ramp built inside the pyramid itself as it rose. This would explain why no evidence of a massive external ramp has ever been found. But perhaps the most astonishing recent discovery involves a set of ancient papyrus scrolls found near the Red Sea port of Wadi al-Jarif. These scrolls, some of the oldest papyrus documents ever found, appear to be the diary of an official named Merer, who was responsible for transporting limestone blocks to the Giza site by boat along canals connected to the Nile. For the first time, researchers had a written, first-hand account of Great Pyramid logistics. And even more remarkable, cosmic ray muon imaging, a technology borrowed from particle physics, has allowed scientists to peer inside the pyramid without drilling a single hole. The results were stunning. A previously unknown large void was detected above the Grand Gallery, a space that does not appear in any known architectural plan and whose purpose remains completely unknown. The pyramid is still hiding something. Now we come to the questions that keep researchers awake at night. Because even after everything we've discovered, the workers' villages, the ancient papyri, the precision measurements, some aspects of the Great Pyramid simply do not fit the conventional explanation. Consider the precision of its construction. The base of the Great Pyramid is level to within just 2 centimeters across its entire 230-meter length. The 4 sides are aligned to true north, south, east, and west with an accuracy of less than 1/10 of a degree. To achieve that level of precision, ancient Egyptian builders would have needed advanced astronomical knowledge, the ability to use stars or the sun's shadow with extraordinary accuracy. Some researchers argue that this level of precision goes beyond what would be needed simply for a tomb and suggests that the pyramid may have served additional purposes, as an astronomical observatory, as a symbolic map of the heavens, or as something else entirely. Then there are the internal shafts, narrow passages that cut diagonally through the pyramid from the king's chamber and the queen's chamber and point towards specific stars in the ancient Egyptian night sky. Some researchers believe these are ceremonial, designed to allow the pharaoh's soul to travel toward the stars of Orion and Thuban after death. Others argue they served a practical ventilation function. The debate has never been fully resolved. And then there is the mathematical question. The relationship between the pyramid's height and its base perimeter closely approximates the mathematical constant pi. The ratio of the pyramid's height to half its base closely approximates the golden ratio, a mathematical proportion found throughout nature. Were these relationships intentional? Did ancient Egyptian architects encode advanced mathematics into the structure? Or are these coincidences produced by the practical use of measurement ratios that happen to produce these results? Historians are divided. Some say the mathematical relationships are the natural result of using simple counting ratios in construction. Others argue they represent evidence of a far deeper mathematical knowledge than ancient Egypt is officially credited with. And the unknown void detected by muon scanning? It remains unexplored, unexcavated, unknown. Whatever it contains, if anything, it has been waiting there, undisturbed, for more than 4,000 years. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a monument to human ambition, human organization, and human genius. The mainstream explanation, a royal tomb built by a powerful civilization, is not wrong. The archaeology supports it in many ways, but it is incomplete. Because the pyramid is not just a building, it is an argument. It argues silently and permanently that ancient human beings were more sophisticated, more intelligent, and more capable than we are comfortable admitting. It argues that the distance between ancient and modern is not as vast as we like to believe, and it holds, somewhere within its stone corridors and hidden voids, secrets that have not yet been revealed. Perhaps the most honest thing we can say about the Great Pyramid is this: we know enough to be amazed, we know too little to be certain. The investigation continues, and the pyramid waits. If this story made you think differently about the ancient world, leave a comment below. Subscribe to Ancestor Origins for new episodes every week, and share this video with someone who still thinks ancient history is boring, because it is anything but.